Welcome. My name is Tomas and we will be building a landing page with Tailwind CSS and Vue. Just that. So I've already made the design in Figma, so let's check that out real quick to get started. This is Monocle, a product I'm building. It's basically an RSS reader, and I've redesigned the landing page. So let's go ahead and start by initializing a Vue project. We'll call these Tailwind CSS landing model. So we run the Vue create command, and we will select no features. This will be just a pure Vue project. Now it's running the npm install with everything. So let's just fast forward to when this is installed. Okay, now let's just do as it says here. Let's cd into the project, then run npm run serve. No, wait. First we have to open. Now we'll run the run serve so we can see everything on the browser as we develop. Okay, now we'll go ahead right here, open localhost, the 8080 port, and we've got the basic Vue starting page. The basic structure of this is basically the node module folder where everything you install with npm goes. Then we've got the public folder, which is what the serve picks up. And here we have the index.html and the little file icon. So let's just open the index. Then we've got the source folder where the main app.vue app starts. Now we'll just delete all of the presets. We won't need this component. So let's just remove that. Remove all of these. Let's just put some hello YouTube. Save that. And then we'll just go ahead and remove the component. We just won't use that. We'll just go full on this app.vue file. It's not a complex thing we will be coding, so it's with one file will be okay. We don't need to make any more components. Okay, so let's just take a quick look at the localhost. Everything is running. You can see changes. Okay. Now let's go ahead and first of all, what we'll need to import is Tailwind. So let's just install this real quick with the CDN. We'll go into the installation page. Right here at the bottom we have the CDN. We'll just copy this and paste it into the head of our HTML. Then we'll go ahead and import some fonts. I've already got the quick Google Fonts link done right here. Otherwise you just have to go into googlefonts.com, I believe it is, the URL, and then just select the fonts you want. These are the ones we will be using: Almendra SC and then Montserrat, with these different weights. So let's just go ahead and first create, give all the site a default font. So let's use the asterisk selector, which will give everything that font. We'll say Montserrat is our default font. Then that would fall back to a sans serif if Montserrat doesn't load. And then we will use font title. We'll create a little helper class called font title, which will be our other font, Almendra SC. And that will fall back to serif if the font doesn't load. So we're done with the index HTML. We'll just go ahead write some lorem ipsum with we'll give the h1 a font, what did we call it, font title. So let's check that out. Did these load? Let's check that out. Right here, close Tailwind. Okay, so we have our font, our Almendra title font, and then our default p tag loads with Montserrat. So let's now take a look at the Figma design. We have the page title up here, then we've got probably an h1 or a title. We've got two buttons here, two call to actions, then an image, then some more text and a button. Then we've got the features, 6 items, they're all the same, an icon, a title, and some text. Then we've got some more text and a button, like the one above. And finally the footer. So let's get started. Okay, as we said, first we have the site title. It's monocle with a class of font title. Then we've got section, which is probably, let's just make this a little bit more comfortable to code. Let me just set up this. Okay, let's hide the drawer. And now we've got this main section. We'll just go with these two items first, the title and then these two buttons. So all of this is a column, so it's everything set like vertically. So let's just call flex call. Then we've got an h1 which says minimalist productivity focused newsreader with a dot. Then we've got two buttons which will go side by side, so we'll just say flex row and just put the two buttons. It's by and import OPML. Then we've got a small text right here. It goes $49 one-time payment. We'll see further on how do we put that in here, because we have a few options. Well, actually, let's take a look right now. I'm thinking of doing probably a div, which is vertically, sorry. We have the button and then a little text. We'll just go with $49 one-time payment. Now after this section we'll have an image which we will export afterwards. Now we've got another section which has some text. It says stop endlessly. Let's just copy paste this. It will be easier. There we go. Let's just put a break here. Oops. And then we have another button. Sorry, this will be by default. We'll go with flex call. I like to always first lay out the main structure with flex call, and flex row to just go ahead and get to know how everything will look, at least on the HTML, and then just start applying classes. Let's just copy this. Okay, now for this part, for the features, we'll just start with one. We'll just do one feature, and then we'll use view and set all of the texts, icons, and titles on the data property here, so we can do a before and loop over that instead of just like hard coding everything on the HTML. So first we have the icon. Then we have a title, which will say it's an H3 probably. Let's go ahead and put this down. Then we'll just copy this. We have as a placeholder. Okay. And that's it for each feature. But we'll have each of these. Sorry, this has to go outside this section. Now we'll probably have a main. It could be a section too. Let's just call it a section. And then here is where we will have our before. Right now, let's just do before I in or feature in 6. We'll just give that an index, so we can give a key, which is index. And let's check that right here. See, okay, this is appearing 6 times. We got no image yet, but this is appearing 6 times, so that's useful. It's still not pretty. It's not yet pretty, as you may notice, but well, let's just continue with the basic structure. So you can see this section looks pretty much like this one. So let's just copy that. It's this one right here. Let's just put that down here. And finally we have our footer. Okay, so this will have 2 divs. We'll just go, this will be flex call, so we just, flex row and justify between. This will allow us to separate these 2 divs, to pull this one to the left and this one to the right. So let's just go here, we'll go with H1 Oracle. This will have a font title class, and then a small text. This will be a flex call, because this goes, this goes vertically. It goes to title and then this, so it's flex call. So this goes first, then this below that. So let's just say by me from Mountain Lab. Then we'll transform this into anchor tags. So this will lead to my website and this to Mountain Lab's website, my software factory business. Here we could replace a div with an unordered list and then have 3 items, which are contact, privacy policy, and terms of service. Okay, so let's take a look at the output here. Okay, it doesn't look like what we wanted to, but we've already got all of the structure laid out. So let's just go ahead and make this look pretty. I'm going to start with making all of this inside a container. You can see this doesn't hit the borders of the site. It's centered, it's in the middle, it's inside a container. So let's use Tailwind for that. What we can do here is probably add a container here, but what happens when we do that? Will it work? Oops, I haven't purchased Sublime Text. I hope you do. I hope I do in the future too. With a container, let's just show you how it looks now. It will go up to this width. So if I remove the container, it will go full width. We don't want that. We want the container, but we want it centered. So we'll just go with MX Auto. Now, what's the problem now? The issue with this is that if we give the footer a background color, let's just say blue 400, it won't be the full width we want it to be, like the design tells us it should be. So what I'm thinking is we could probably just put all of the content inside the div, but leave the footer outside, and then apply a container to all of this div, and then apply another container to the footer content. So let's just do that and see if it works. We'll go, actually we could, yeah, we'll just use a div. We'll say class container, next auto, background red, so you guys can see it. Just remove this, put it over here, just pull this down all the way up to the footer. Now what do we get? What we want, but we need another container here, right? No, we don't need another container there. We need a container that holds all of this, because of the same issue we faced with the main website content. So just go with this. Background blue 400, MX auto, no, sorry, this is not. And let's just put the final color here. I think it's gray, 800. Okay. Now the flex row and justify between, we wanted to apply to these two items, not this one, because it has no siblings, so it's just this div. It's useless to just say flex row justify between here. So let's just leave that there, put this here, and there we go, we have our little footer. It's not attached to the bottom right now, but it will be once this fills up with content and size and spacing. Okay, so let's just add the text color here. Probably is gray 100. Maybe we can try 200. Okay, 200 seems nice. We'll go with this, will be text right. We'll align that to the right. We will make this centered. Let me see. Let's check the design. It's not, yes, it's centered. You can see this is centered regarding this. So let's just center that, give some breathing space on the bottom and on the top. And let me check, confirm the text color here. It's gray 500, not 200. Okay, let's go with 500, then this between. Now wait, starting now to center this vertically, we'll go with item center. There we go, and we'll just give it a little bit of padding Y. I like to start with something like 12. It's a bit too much. Let's go with 8. That's a bit nicer. Now let's define the title font size here, probably 2XL. Let's go ahead, text 2XL, maybe one more, 3XL. Now the problem with H1 is that this has padding and margin, so let's just try removing the margin. It's not margin, it's padding. It's not padding. It's probably leading. There we go. You can see how this text, this little space, is removed when we put leading none. That's the line height. So in the design we have it pretty close together, so let's keep that. Okay, now if you noticed, this is kind of a bit bolder and this is even bolder. So let's just go with this pen. Let's surround this, surround that, and go with a class of font bold, maybe. Okay, that's probably for the one below. Font left, font bold. Yeah, that looks nice. This should be probably font medium. Let's check. Okay, it's not medium. Let's try font semi-bold. Okay, it's not working. Let's say maybe we'll give the whole small thing a font thing. There we go. No, curly? Maybe? Is this the... what did we import? We said 200, 400, 700. Okay, so let's go to Tailwind documentation and let's check the font weight. What's the 200 font thin? Okay, so this should make everything thin, and then the 400 is font normal, not medium. That's weird. But 200, 400, 700. What's the 700? It's a bold. Okay, well, we'll take a look into that afterwards, or maybe you guys can figure it out and let me know in the comments what went wrong right there. Let me just put this a little bit more tidy. And actually this will end up being anchor tags with hrefs to my own site, and then this one to my mountainlab.com.ar. And I always like to add target blank, so the link opens up in a new tab. Let's check if that works. Okay, doesn't, because we need to add the HTTPS right here. So now it works. There we go. Mountain Lab is opening. Then my own site is opening. Perfect. Oops, had a little thing right there with the SSL. We'll just fix that off the record. Okay, now we've got the footer, right? This might be a bit smaller. Let's just make those smaller. Let's just say text small. Maybe extra small. I like them small and font light thin. It's weird that the font is not changing. Well, and this will probably also end up being anchor tags, which lead to a contact, a privacy policy, and the terms of service pages. But right now we'll just leave it like this. We're just doing the basic front end for the landing page. Okay, now we can remove this. We could say the whole app has a background of gray 100, just make it a little bit easier on the eyes. And now let's just go ahead and start with the title. Title we said we used it in the footer. It's letting none, text 3XL. We'll probably make this a little bit bigger because here it's a bit bigger. So let's just try 3XL. Okay. I'll go with 4XL. Put some padding top and some padding bottom. Probably 12 is okay. Now we'll go with the H1. We'll say this has text 4XL, and I think that's it, right? No. What's with the font? It's a bit weird, right? Did this work? Is this actually working? Oh, there's a typo there, so that's why it's not picking up my font weight on the footer. Let's check that out. Okay, now we're talking. This is the thin, this is the normal weight, and then this is the bold. So we don't want the thin on this. I guess you probably picked up that typo right when I did it, but I'm recording live and I didn't notice. So let's continue with this. This should also have a letting none, so we can remove that spacing. And I would like to break it to force this break. So let's just add a break here and remove the space. Okay, my linter already did that. So there we go. Now, should we do this highlight thing now. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Let's say this is surrounded with a little span, which we will add a class called highlight. This we can't do with Tailwind because we will have to use pseudo classes and pseudo selectors. So let's just go ahead and do that right here. In the style, we'll say when we got highlight, we will do the after. We'll build an after with content nothing, position absolute, top 1, top 0, width full, and we can add this here. It's probably a background of red 100, maybe. Just click more, see if we can see it. Yes. So there we go. Background red 200. It's probably not even red. I'm colorblind, so sorry. Oh yeah, it's red 900, but with 10% opacity. Okay, let's do that. It's 900, and then we've got opacity of 0.1. That's weird. Oh, okay, because I'm applying the background color to this element, and then I'm applying the opacity to the after element. So let's just say, let's just grab this real quick. Just grab the color code. It's this hexadecimal, and let's just do everything in CSS right here. So let's say background of this, and what's the issue now? Let's see, got the span, and we've got the after. Let's just pull this right here. Just say the after. We'll say with 100, height 100, and the problem is this has to have a relative position, right? Because we put absolute to the after, so it doesn't know where to go unless you say the father, the container is relative. Let's just go with left 0, and there we go. We'll give then this, we'll say it's relative. I like to put relative and absolute at the beginning. And we'll say top 0, left 0, and we set width 100 and height 100. This is all the CSS we are going to do in this video. The idea is to use Tailwind as much as we can, but unfortunately we can't do pseudo selectors in Tailwind. So then we have this, we can make this little skew, like the angle. I probably did that with my hands, which you won't see. I think this was skew. Let's see. How do I spell this? There we go. Skew X, and we'll say, I think it's in px. No, it's in degrees. Okay, so we want it to go the other way around, and it's 10. There we go. We'll say the height is maybe 80%, and then the top, position it a little bit down. There we go. I like the style of that. Okay, now if we want to reuse this again, we will just need to add the highlight class. Let's just actually move this to the highlight class, so it's just adding that when we need another highlight class. That will allow us to build this one, then this one, and then this one. by just adding a highlight class. Okay, let's go ahead now and continue with the buttons. We'll have by here and the import of BML. Let's just check out real quick what color this is. Oops. This, oh, it's gray 900. So let's just say this is class. Let's just go with, oops, go with both buttons at the same time. Plus background gray 900. Then text white. Let's just make it gray 100. This one, import OPML, will have a background of white. Both will have a border. Let's just say border gray 900. Why both? Well, if I only put the border on this one, then it will be slightly bigger than this one. So I just like to add the border to both items. Okay, that's not really working. This should be text gray 900 since it's the other way around. Now let's what should we add next? Let's just make fixed width and the rounded borders. See how that looks. Okay, now the problem is the height. What could we do to fix the height? Okay, first off, what I'm thinking is we just remove this from here, but that would be a problem. So let's just think about this. This is a row, then we can have this outside probably. Just make this right here. We don't even need this, and that's it. See if, okay, there we go. Now we will want this to have some padding Y, padding Y2, and the text to Excel. Maybe it's too much. Let's just try Excel. And these are, this one is in uppercase. So let's just go ahead and do that. Remove 1, 2 is too much. There we go. Now we'll just go with uppercase right here. And we'll just put some margin to the left of this one so we can separate them a bit. Okay, there we go. This one appears to have some shadow, so let's just add a little shadow right here at the end. There we go. It's pretty subtle, but that ends up making the difference with other sites. This one is more flat, so we won't put any shadow. Okay, now this little text here, what should we do? It's already pretty small, so probably the font, I mean the text it says is not necessary. Okay, we'll go with gray 400, maybe 500. Yeah, and then just make this bold. Just the bold tag. There we go. Yeah, that's okay for now. Now we will import the image. Right here we have to export. Now to import this, we'll just go assets, laptop, and should be good to go. No, we're not. Why is that? Should we add this? There we go. That's it. Got the laptop. Probably make it a bit smaller. Let's add a class here. Say width of maybe 10. There we go. Add an Excel auto to center that. And add some padding Y, maybe of 12. Make it breathe a little bit more. There we go. Now let's go ahead like this. Continue with the next section. what we have here, we've got this little section. Let's see how wide it is. Okay, takes the whole screen. Let's just justify center that. Okay, it's the other one. It's item center, and then we'll go text center too. So we can center this right there. We'll go with font medium. It's already font medium, so we'll just maybe try font bold. No, it's too much. It's not bold. Only this is bold. So let's check that out. Formation diet. Let's put it in a span, since it will need to have a bold class and then also a highlight class that we built earlier. That's awesome. Maybe it's too much. 10px is too much, so let's do 5px, and then maybe a height of 90%, maybe a top of 0, too much, 2px, with small details. Yeah, it looks good here, Okay, now oh wait, these buttons are too close together. Let's just pull that down. Just say margin top 4. That's pretty good. Now maybe the design has a little bit more spacing. Let's just go with margin top 8. We don't have to build it exactly like the design, but maybe, I mean, as close as we can. Then we'll just adapt all the final details when we're done. Okay, now this is okay. Now we'll go with the buy now button, which is the same as this, and this is the same too. So let's just copy that and say, oops, put this here, say buy now, and then the small element is also the same. So let's just copy that, save. Auto indentation there. Okay, now let's check where we at. Got to give the buy now button some spacing. This one. We'll just go with margin top 4. That's okay. Now let's take a look at the features. Okay, first let's just build this. Just go with the first. This will be bold, and then we have 6 in total, 2 rows of 3 columns. So we could just say that each one should be of 1/3 of a width, right? And then we'll call the container of this parent element. We'll just say flex row, and okay, we should just go with flex wrap, and there we go. We have each of these right here. Okay, just check. It's 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's awesome. We'll go with some margin top for the whole section. Here we go, maybe some bit more. And then we could actually copy this section from the one above. Let's just go with this. Copy this, so everything is already done right here. To update the text, stay up to date. It's this, and this should go here. Stay up to date. There we go. We'll let it break. No, now we'll artificially break the line here, so we have the two lines exactly break where we want, and it's not where we want. Okay, you just put it in a random place. So for that, it's just for YouTube. Here we go. Now we're good. We will add some margin top to these. I could resolve everything just by adding padding or margin to this main section, to the features section, sorry, to this main section, and push this down and this up, but it's a good practice, and I also like it when you just apply the margin to the element you want to move, not for example adding a margin button to this would move another element but not the actual element where the margin top class is, where the margin class is. So I'd rather have this have this margin top, and then this have this margin top, and then the footer have this margin top, because it's more kind of like atomic. In case you, for example, you remove this section, you wouldn't end up with a whole white space. You would just, this would disappear because it's the margin for this element, but this would remain because it's of the footer. So everything would look nice. I mean, that's the whole reason for applying the margin to the actual element you're moving. Okay. So where were we? Oops, we don't want to show that. Now we will push the footer a bit down with margin top 12, maybe a bit more. I think there's 16. Okay, there we go. Maybe this could be a bit more. So, sorry, not this, this. And this one too. So we keep a bit of consistency with this, this, and this spacing. Okay, let's go ahead. This one has a different text. E49 is bold. This says start. There we go. Maybe this has some more like letter spacing. So that's just tracking. So let's just select all buttons and say tracking white. Why didn't it make it wider? Oops. I don't know how to write, apparently. CA. No. Wait a minute. Tracking white? It's not working. Interesting. Wait a minute. Where are we? Start right here. Tracking white. There we go. And oh, we accidentally removed the width. It's just wide. Let's try widest. There we go. Make it more. Well, let's just copy this, put it in the by now. There we go. And then in both of these buttons, just put it here and then here, and let's just save and see. Okay, not here, maybe just white. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Okay, so we're almost done. We just need to add the images here and add some spacing, and that's it. Let's add some spacing now. we will have to go back to the before here. Let's just make it a bit more separate. We can breathe a little bit. You guys can see everything a bit better. So section, section, then the footer. This is okay, and then the footer. Okay, so here's the before. Now let's go with some padding X right here. See what happens. Okay, it's pretty good. This probably needs some leading tight, a bit tighter. See if that's okay. It's probably not. Let's just leave the leading like that. Change to font thin. And then just add some padding Y, which should be like 8 or so. And we just change the margin to 4 for 8. Okay. Now we'll go with padding Y. Yeah, that looks better. Now we just have to export all of these icons. We'll probably just export them as SVGs. Fast forward icon. You may fast forward until I finish this. You know, SVGs are way lighter than PNGs and JPEGs, and they also scale without losing quality because they are vectors. So that's why I do everything with SVG. Okay, now for these features, we said we will use the data object on the script section of the Vue template, so we can make everything dynamic. So let's go ahead and do that. We will leave this here for now. We will say in features, and let's create that object. Data is a function that returns an object where we will say features is an array of objects which will have for each one we will have an icon, then a title, and finally text. So let's just go ahead and make 6 of this, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let's just copy and paste this. Okay, now we're done with completing all of the text, title, and icons from the template here, from the design, sorry. Okay, now what we have to do here in the features is, since we're doing a before, we need to import to use the text, title, and icon data dynamically. So here we go. We'll go with the, let's check this as it updates. Go with the title. You can see how, okay, it's feature.title. So you can now see how I misspelled of this. It's title. It's just okay. Now you can see how all of them appeared. Now we have to make this dynamic. It was feature.text. Hope I didn't mistype that. No, it's okay. Now for the image source, we need to add the this notation with the, and then we'll go feature.icon. And it's not working. Why not? Is it icon? Yes. Should it be like this? Maybe Maybe it has to be absolute. No. Should it be relative? Okay. So we're in the view file. This is the assets. Let's just check the other image we have here is, where's the other image? It's right here, it's dot assets. Okay. Well, let's just do a quick workaround. Let's just remove all of these from here and make this assets and concatenate that there. That should have worked, but it doesn't. Oops. Okay. Why is this not working? Let's fall back to having everything right here. Did I mistype anything? Assets, double S. Okay, I think I found the issue. I think it's related to Vue actually building these at runtime, and at runtime we only have this folder. So since this is dynamic and it tries to go to look for the assets folder, and it's not there because it's the run server runs in this context. It's not there. So let's just try and build a new folder here, images, and then move all of these. Oops, can't do that. Move. Where do I have move? Okay, I can move all of them. To move each one of them, we'll just go source. No, we'll go public images. Okay, there we go. Now let's just try with that one. It's the clock one. Clock. It's here. Let's just go with images. Whoop, there we go. That's it. Now let's continue to move all of these. Now we can edit all of these and say slash. Oops. Slash images slash the icon name. Okay, we can now hide the folder, and that's it. We have all of them. Now we've got a little breathing space down here, so let's just, and also down here. So let's just give the where are we? Right here. Let's just give this some margin top, and this some margin top. See how that looks. Okay, it's pretty good. Maybe make the icons a bit smaller. Just say with 24. Maybe 20. 20 is okay. So I think we're done, right? Let's just take a quick look at the design. Just take a quick look at the code. I'll show you right here. We got the title, then the top section with the buttons, the small text, then the main image. Then we've got some call to action with some text, the main features with our before that we made dynamically. Bear in mind when you make the images source dynamic, you have to put that in the public folder, or just try the different ways of importing images, whether it's a relative or absolute URL. Then we have another section with the buttons and kind of like a call to action. This is where the main section of the website ends. Then there's the footer, and that's it. Let's take a look side by side of the design and what we intended to achieve. So there we go. It's pretty close, although the background is not gray, the design is white. So let's just change that real quick. And there we go. I think we got pretty close. Hope you enjoyed the video. Oh wait, let's put some more padding down here. Great. Oh, there we had padding. Okay, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you liked it. See you next time.